All right, go ahead and throw your name on here, just so if this falls out of your notebook, we can try to get it back to you. And this is second hour. And it seems as if all of my pins are dead. Lovely. That's what happens when I haven't touched them all summer. All right, to solve equations, we are going to use opposite operations. To isolate the variable. So this should be review of things that we've either done in 8th grade or pre-algebra. We use opposite operations. To isolate a variable. In other words, we are trying to get the letter. So our variable, we always use a letter for it by itself. That's an L. Sorry, I used a weird L. So we use opposite operations. We're trying to get the letter by itself. And then I have written right there, undo operations by using their opposites, which is the same thing as use opposite operations. But I guess I just wanted to write it down twice. Sometimes I don't know what I'm thinking when I make these note sheets. And sometimes I use ones from the year prior and I really don't know what I was thinking then. All right, addition. What is addition the opposite of? Addition is the opposite of subtraction. And I found a pin that works. Yay. Okay, and what is our other set of opposites? Multiplication and division. That line is not big enough for multiplication. Division. At least not when I write it. All right, so there are no one-step equations on your assignment because you guys have been doing one-step equations for a couple years now, but I did want to do one of each operation just as a quick little review. So we've got x plus 4 equals 15. We are trying to get x by itself. We are currently adding 4. What's the opposite of addition? Subtraction. So we are going to subtract 4. Everything we do on one side of an equal sign, we do on the other side of an equal sign. If it helps you to draw that line down the equal sign, do it. So we subtract 4 on both sides. On the left side, this plus 4 and minus 4 cancel out. That's why we're doing the opposites, because they cancel each other out. So now we just have x on the left side of my equation. And on the right side of my equation, we can do the math now. 15 minus 4 is 11. Okay. Our next one is the opposite of that. Because right here, we have x minus 6. The opposite of subtracting, minus, is adding. So to get rid of that minus 6, we're going to add 6 to both sides. My minus 6 and plus 6 cancel each other out. So same number, opposite operation. I've just got x on the left here. 3 plus 6 is 9. We could take these and we could rephrase them to match up with what we were doing at the boards. So instead of saying x plus 4, I could say my number plus 4 is 15. Well, 11 plus 4 is 15. We could say my number, and then my number take away 6 is 3, or 6 less than my number is 3. and we would get 9, okay? So we could rephrase them to think about them the same way we were at the boards. What's up? Yeah, be quick. Okay, we got 2 more of these 1 steps. These ones are a little bit trickier because the operation isn't written out for us. Like we literally have a plus sign and we literally have a minus sign. Right here, what does 3x mean? 3 times x. So when you have a number, that's called a coefficient, is what the number is called, right next to a variable, that is multiplication. If you need to write a little note to yourself that says multiplication, do it. Okay? Opposite of multiplication is division. So we need to divide both sides by 3. When I divide in an equation, I always use a fraction bar to divide. So I do divided by 3, just because it's way faster than writing out like a whole division sign. And then, this is the fun part, we can cancel these out. 3 over 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. So those cancel out, and I'm left just with x, just with 1x, which is just x. And then 12 divided by 3 is 4. So right there, I divided by 3. I know it looks like a fraction, and you guys are scared of fractions, but the opposite of multiplication is just division. All I did was divide by 3. How I wrote it was as a fraction, because fractions are division. Okay, last one on this side, and then we'll dive into those 2-step ones. We've got x over 2 equals 7. What operation is happening between that x and that 2? Division. It looks like a fraction. Fractions are just division. Nothing to be scared of. So this is division. X divided by 2. Opposite of dividing is multiplying. So if you need to write a note to yourself that this is division, you can. We're going to multiply both sides by 2. Have you checked in at your office, Braylon? Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Let me give you this. We'll get other stuff set up for you in a second. Just catch up with where we're at right now. So opposite of division is multiplication. So I'll multiply both sides by 2. These 2's cancel out, so I just have an x on the left. And on the right side, 7 times 2 is 14. Okay. Any questions right now about problems on this side? Okay, in that case, go ahead and flip this over. Let's look at these 2-step on the back. Mrs. Bly and I sarcastically call 1-step equations and 2-step equations 1-steppers and 2-steppers. I'm not really sure where it started, but now I keep finding myself accidentally doing it. So let's look at these 2-steppers. Okay, so we only are going to look at 2-step equations that are set up like this for today. Ones that are multiplication and then addition or subtraction. What's up? Yes, you may. Be quick. So we are going to always start by we're going to work backwards towards our variable. So we want to get rid of the things that are furthest away from our variable first. So we're going to get rid of the addition or subtraction first. So in this first problem, we're going to get rid of this plus 2. And we do that the exact same way we did on the front page. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So then on the left side, the 2 minus 2 cancels, so we've got 3x. And on the right side, we've got 11 minus 2. 11 minus 2 is 9. Then from there, the problem that we essentially have is 3 times my number equals 9. So 3 times, that's 3 multiplied by, Opposite of multiplication is division. So we can divide both sides by 3. And we'll get x equals, these 3's cancel out. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay. Next one, 2x minus 7 equals negative 3. We're going to start with the same step, getting rid of the minus 7. So the opposite of subtracting is adding. So we'll add 7 to both sides. We'll get 2x equals negative 3 plus 7. I owe you $3. I'm feeling generous, so I pay you 7 back. How much money did you just make? $4. If you don't like thinking about it that way, negative 3 plus 7, same thing as 7 minus 3. So you can flip the order, but keep the signs with them. So I've got 2x equals 4. And then my last step is the same. I divide both sides by 2. Those cancel. I get x equals 2. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. Moving down. We've got 2 more. Okay, this next one is kind of tricky. We are missing a number here. What number is right here? 1. If I have an x by itself, I have 1x. If I have negative x by itself, it's negative 1x. So in this case, it's negative 1x. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides. So I solve it the same way once I get that negative 1 plugged in. So I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides. I get negative 1x equals negative 2 minus 14 is negative 16. I take $2 away from you. I take another $14 away from you. Nothing positive has happened there. No way that's going to become positive. Now I can divide both sides by negative 1. Get my x by itself. So those cancel. And then now a negative divided by a negative is positive. So if you guys have heard the phrase 2 positives become a negative, that's only true when multiplying or dividing. So negative 16 divided by negative 1 is positive 16. Okay. I would like for you to try to solve the last one on your own. Be careful with those negatives. We'll check it together here in a second. Hey, what is the first thing that you guys did? Added 3. Okay. Let's do one thing at a time. So we got to get rid of that minus 3 because that's furthest away from the x. So we get rid of that minus 3 by adding 3. So I still have my negative 5x over here. What is negative 28 plus 3? Negative 25. Now, how do I get rid of that negative 5? Divide. This is multiplication. Don't try to add there. Just because you see a negative doesn't mean it's minus. If it's negative in front of the number, before the number, it's not minus. So divide by negative 5 on both sides. We get x equals negative 25 divided by negative 5 is positive 5. Okay, grab your glue stick. Anyone have any questions right now? Okay, we are going to glue our notes into our notebook. We are always going to glue our notes into our notebook. We'll get yours set up in a second. Okay? So I'm going to zoom out here. You want to flip this over back to the front. We are gluing after our quick write page. So we had our quick write page. We're going to turn the page. The next page is where our notes are going to go. From here, we'll glue our notes front and back. But I'm going to leave the back of this page. Just in case I write big or I write a lot, I want to leave this in case I need it for my quick writes. So I'm going to leave that page blank. And then we're going to start gluing here. Take this page. Lay it down how I have it laid down. Fold this down. This tab that says fold here and glue here. This is the easiest way to glue and have things be right side up still. Then, of course, I only have clear glue up here, not purple glue. Then put glue on this tab. And fold it back up. And then your notes are right side up. And then when you flip this up to see the examples on the back, they're right side up too. Yeah. Way. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. I wanted to include how to glue notes into the recording.